All right, let's get into the other danger zone now that we're out of this danger zone, which was the sequel, 32 years in the making. The sequel we didn't know we needed, wanted, or asked for. Top Gun Maverick. Or what I'd like to call it as Goose, a love story.
What's up?
But we're taking off still.
It's all coming apart.
There we go. That actually worked really well. Literally, the graphic machine just jumped on the couch because it's in love with soda. I think that's just what happened. But Mario, we'll start with you. What was your take? You're the one that said I didn't know if I needed this sequel or wanted this sequel, but we got this sequel. What do you think in Top Gun Maverick?
I mean, I went in expecting a lot. It's been getting awesome reviews, super positive, whatever. Like best movie ever, people are saying. One of the best movies of all time, I've heard people say. And I was like, really? Top Gun 2 is the best movie of all time?
No. It just goes to show that COVID was rough on us all. COVID was rough on us all.
So I had pretty high expectations, and I thought it was a pretty standard Tom Cruise action movie. Like I didn't really get like the nostalgia for me was not. I wasn't drumming up any old memories for me. I remember having that tape and watching Top Gun a lot. Yeah, I don't know. It didn't, for the most part, it didn't work for me.
You didn't dig it?
Yeah, no, I didn't really get into it. I don't really find any fault with it. It's a well-made movie. Everything was pretty solid, action all across the board, but it just felt, I don't know. It just felt like something I didn't really need to see and didn't really want to see, and it was just kind of there, and then it was over.
Yeah, it was a soft reboot of the first one, and I liked it. I liked it a lot. But I likened it more to like feeling like a roller coaster ride. It did feel like an amusement park ride. That is just like, oh, I remember the original ride. I love this ride. But what I did really like about the film portion of it was there was. Do you want to throw the spoiler warning up there?
Oh, for the
yeah. Warning. This leaned heavily into the two emotional portions of the first film, which was Goose dying, and then really leaning into the relationship of where Ice kind of evolved with Maverick. But on top of that, to me, why I really enjoyed it was it paralleled what's really going on with Val Kilmer in real life. And that really choked me up that, okay, they built his character, the character that we loved from the first film, or we loved to hate, and then we ended up loving. And hearing him really talk, knowing that he can't talk, and doing that, I was just like, they wrote it into the script, and the way that, Maverick, the relationship we had him, I enjoyed that. What do you think, Brian?
I went into it this similar thing. A lot of people that I trust were saying like, it's the best movie that's come out this year, and I'm like, slow down. But going into and seeing it, I really liked it. It worked on a lot of levels for me. The nostalgia wasn't too heavy-handed, which it is in a lot of instances. I think it could have been a lot worse. I think they did enough to kind of call back to it while also still making its own thing. The way I've been describing the movie to people is this is a movie that makes me remember why I love watching movies in a theater.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because I think seeing this on a screen at home, I mean, you'll still get some enjoyment out of it, but especially taking my son to see this, I told him, I was like, man, you've got to watch Top Gun so we can go see this. So he watched Top Gun, dug it, went and saw this, dug it. But being able to sit in a theater with him and on a massive screen, see a movie of this scale, especially with how much better they've gotten at filming, especially even just the flight scenes.
Yeah.
So a lot of that all mixed together, and I'm a Tom Cruise fan. I mean, he's one of our only movie stars we have left.
Yeah.
Who's strictly just a bona fide movie star, where even in the crap movies that he's in sometimes, you still can't take your eyes off of him.
Yeah.
And so anything he does, I'm going to go see. But I like the fact that this was a movie that I didn't really need, but enjoyed it regardless. Like, I didn't need a Top Gun sequel.
No.
And so that's why I was pleasantly surprised by the fact that I did enjoy it so much. Because, I mean, I love Tom Cruise, but I mean, Top Gun is just a movie from my childhood. It wasn't, it's not Star Wars. It didn't change my life. Or
Oh,
anything like
yeah,
that. It's
no,
just a
at all.
movie that you have that nostalgic feel.
Right.
For Kenny Loggins and the soundtrack and the beach volleyball scene, which just has so much homoerotic tension
It does,
behind
yeah.
it. So
Hello there.
it's not a movie that was just like I was just craving for, but I think that's probably why I enjoyed it so much, because I was pleasantly surprised by it. But it made me, I've been to the theater since then, or before, since COVID and everything like that, and this is one of those movies that just made me remember, like, this is why I love going to movies.
Right.
It's not
In the theaters.
it's not a life-changing, earth-shattering, artistic, Oscar-worthy film, but it was just good and well done and didn't bore me. And it wasn't just, I think it was a little bit more than a popcorn flick.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going into that like I would a Transformers movie where I'm just going to see shit blow up. This, I actually, you went for a little bit of the story. And to your point, like, they did the nice callbacks going back to the Goose relationship with Rooster. But what hit me hard was, especially with Iceman.
Yeah,
It's
that was-
it's such a well-written scene, and the whole time you're leading up to the fact that he can't talk and he's typing and stuff like that. And you just, especially for the whole meta side of it, if you know that Kilmer is going through all this stuff
in real life, yep.
you're not expecting him to say those words. And when you do, it kind of hits you.
It does. Like,
It kind
wow.
of, I was just like, you start getting a little emotional because you know what that took even.
To deliver those lines. I agree. I think that put it over the top for me, the movie, because it's such a theatrical film. I'm not sure if I'll actually seek it out to see it once it's released. I'm not going to be clamoring to buy it. But if it is on, I'm going to definitely turn on my Bose, and it's going to be on the 70-inch, and I want to blast it if I'm going to see it, because it's a movie you have to feel, because it feels more like you said. I don't know if you want to call it a popcorn flick or an amusement park ride. It felt like that, but with a good story, because I was very curious how they were going to handle, like, no Kelly McGillis, and it worked, because Jennifer Connelly was great. She was great, and we actually found Mari. I don't know if you want to throw that graphic up. Like, she's a national treasure. Hey, let's hear it for Jennifer Connelly. Like, that she is a star, and like I don't know if it's her character or her IRL. Like, she's in her 50s, right?
Yeah.
She looks incredible, and she was like the perfect, like you said, Tom Cruise has that appeal that you need somebody that's going to be able to have to match that energy and still not be ridiculous and be somebody like in their 20s. And she did it. It was like, it was like, oh man, they kind of boned Kelly McGillis, but then you saw the stuff and they're like, oh, okay. And then you go back and like, oh yeah, they did mention her in the first one. So at least they took the time to pay homage to the canon that was the small little universe of Top Gun. Like you said, this isn't Star Wars, but they still, at least, it could be argued that the writers at Disney are not always doing that with Star Wars, but at least with Top Gun they did that. It's like, well, let's pay homage to the volleyball scene with a water football scene, and Great Balls of Fire got the call out, and he is now in the role that Kelly McGillis was in the first one, and then all the stuff with Goose was great. That I love that it was not that he tried to become the surrogate father, even though he wasn't a father, a biological father himself, but he felt a duty to his friend, which he felt responsible for the death. So he's carrying the weight of feeling responsible for the death of his friend. And now he's like, maybe I can try to be a dad, but we know his name is Maverick. Of course, he's not necessarily going to be the best dad or make the best decisions, but he's doing the best that he can do, as a dad. And then that's why he pulled him out of the academy. And then that came back, and then they had this the tension felt like legit. I was like, man, this is really good. But then he knew that he was putting him in a life-threatening situation against the enemy, so he couldn't take it easy on him, even though he wants to nurture him, but he also has to prepare him for war. And then I think, for me, not being a pilot, I think they did a really good job of explaining how treacherous this was to do this run, like every step of the way. First, you're going to have to do this. Then you're going to have to do this. And then you're going to have to go up. And then you're going to have to go inverted. And then you're going to have to go down. And then you got one shot. I was like, wow, this is like they basically paint by numbers. This is what we're going to have to do. And I think they did a really good job with it. I was pleasantly surprised because, again, I wasn't a huge Top Gun mark. We knew when somebody pulls behind you at the office, right? You're like, you're my goose, right? Because you pulled behind me on the chair. But it's not like I was a huge mark for it. So I was surprised how much I really did enjoy it. Mike was asking, wasn't Val Kilmer's voice AI? JJ said the voice was AI, but his son has his voice. I don't know if they went with the son on that. So I don't know if it was AI, but he struggled to get it out. So that's why I was like, well, if it wasn't AI, the performance still hit, because we know he really can't talk. Wasn't he in town for he went to that the ghost town that's off of 290.
Yeah, they did like a Tombstone
when they
screening
did
out
Tombstone.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was in that documentary on Amazon Prime.
Oh, that's what. Yeah,
And I think it was his son, because his son did his voice over on that documentary.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. And do we know why was it smoking, or was this what happened with his vocal? I know it's some kind of cancer, I thought.
I'm not sure. I can look it up on the Google machine.
The Google machines. But yeah, I don't know. I'm probably more of a mark for the Remember Berries. So I did enjoy that portion of the nostalgia, and like Brian, like you said, I don't think it was too heavy-handed. I marked out for the Great Balls of Fire. I think you do have to kind of lean into some flashbacks in these films, especially when they're separated by years like this. So but it wasn't too much. It wasn't too gratuitous. But it made the people who did watch it and maybe it's like, oh, I haven't seen this movie in years, it brought you back, right? It was music and commercials are a bookmark in time. So when you had that karaoke scene on the piano and then to see his son doing it, I was like, I don't know. Maybe I'm a basic B, but I was like, okay, yeah, that was cool. I dug it.
I think the only thing I would have liked more is if he hadn't done Great Balls of Fire, and if he had done You've Lost That Love and Feeling.
Oh, yeah.
I think doing that because I think everyone kind of expects him. He's already wearing the shirt and he's got the stash and everything. I think everyone expected that kind of Great Balls of Fire moment.
Yeah.
So I would have loved it if they would have just flipped that on its head and done the You've Lost That Love and Feeling.
Oh man, that would have been good. Did this relaunch? Tom Cruise has been struggling, like you said, even though he's a bankable, he's the movie star, but he had a lot of. JJ said, throat cancer. Man, that sucks.
Generally caused by excessive tobacco and alcohol usage.
Damn. That sucks. But I was saying with Tom Cruise, he struggled a little bit because of his real life stuff leaked over. And to be a great movie star like the Pacinos, and the De Niros, you kind of have to hide from the spotlight of when you're not on the film. And he had a couple moments where he didn't, and that hurt his box office. But it didn't hurt it because then he's just like, okay, I'm going to lean into becoming the American Jackie Chan, where this is me doing my own stunts. And that, they had him on YouTube breaking his leg jumping from buildings. So it was like, okay, you're going to go see him, and you're going to forget all the other stuff because you're leaning into that. So other than Mission Impossible, he hadn't had anything that really hit until this one. I wanted The Mummy to work, And I thought maybe the Mummy can do it because I'm a mark for the Universal monsters, and I wanted that to work, but it didn't work. And then that thing, went away. But does this relaunch Top Gun for you? Is there going to be a Top Gun 3?
I mean, if people are shelling out money for it, they're going to make another one. That's kind of like the cynical way to look at it. But I think, generally, if this makes $1 billion, they'll make another one for sure. Why not? And Maverick can do something else. So maybe he'll fly. Maybe he'll join the other team. He'll go to the whatever. Who were they even fighting in this movie? Did
The
they
enemy.
say?
The
Well,
enemy.
They left it intentionally vague, just because there's any number of villains we can choose from.
Right.
But they left it intentionally vague so that you couldn't really tell what it was. But I think that also helps it too, because we see that a lot with movies, especially from like the 80s. It's always, we're fighting Russia, or we're fighting China, or we're fighting Cuba,
Right.
And when you don't tie it necessarily to something like that, it becomes a little more, I don't want to say timeless, but it's a little easier it has a longer shelf life.
Yeah, and now we're talking about a global box office. We're in the U.S., this is where the box office now struggles, where we used to be the powerhouse, and the U.S. is not the powerhouse. Now you have to rely on your international box office. So you're not going to... Their enemy might be different than your enemy. So I think leveraging it and just calling... Although I think they did it in the original one, too. I don't think they ever called it out. And I think the remake of Red Dawn did that as well, right? They were very ambiguous on who was doing the invading.
Well, it was definitely North Korea in that one.
Oh,
they changed it on that one. They originally, I forgot who. I think they had China or somebody originally.
That's
and
what it was.
changed it to
They
North
flipped
Korea
it, right?
Because they were like, well, this is really the only true. We know these guys are bad, so we're gonna go ahead.
Yeah, everybody agree. This one's a dick. Okay, yeah, that's the dick. Get that dick. Boo this man. Boo.
So I mean, I think I'm not entirely sure what's drawing everyone to this movie all of a sudden. I mean, you're probably right. It has something to do with the pandemic and how deprived of entertainment we were and how burned out everybody is. And this is like a good old-fashioned nostalgia.
Yeah.
Right? But I mean, all in all, I feel like this movie could have been about like a ski school and you do the same plot. And it's like, it aside from it being a Top Gun, I don't know. It felt kind of unoriginal to me.
Oh, don't get me wrong. If you make a movie about a ski school, I'm there day one. I want to be back in a world
like a
where
ski school, an impossible jump they got to do, and they've only got 3 weeks to learn how to do this impossible slope.
Yeah.
Right?
Speed on skis.
Yes. That's the pitch, the elevator pitch. What is it? It's speed on skis. All right. Yeah, selling it. Yeah, I don't care. I want to live in a world where Weekend at Bernie's is the norm. I want it just to be like, call it hot dog the movie, hamburger the movie, sausage the movie. I don't care. It doesn't always... I'm a big as mark as anybody for a lot of this nostalgic stuff, but that doesn't mean that you should not do original content as well. And that's why Blumhouse does so well, although he's leaning into some of the nostalgia too, because now he has a little bit of a name, but don't even spend a lot of money. Like Mario, what did you say the pitch was for Weekend at Bernie's? Just like, I don't know, we got $1 million. You're going to puppeteer a dead body, and we got this house in the Hamptons. Go make a movie.
Terry Kaiser is a dead body, and you guys pretend like he's alive. Go.
I mean, that's great. That's what I want to see. I mean, I would shell it out to go see it in theaters. So, but that being said, I still think there's room for stuff like Top Gun. But I think it's a responsibility from the studio and the filmmakers to like, do not, like Quentin Tarantino, do not just put me in front of a bigger TV and expect it to be a theatrical experience. It needs to be a theatrical experience, and we're a little bit spoiled here in Austin because, the birthplace of Alamo Drafthouse. So we all are all about the theatrical, where make it, and Brian, we ran into each other right on and independently, not even knowing we were going to be there. I told Mario, I go to Cinemark when it's going to be in Theater 1, and it has to be a Theater 1 worthy movie. That's a theatrical experience because I can't simulate XD at home. I can't have somebody cooking and giving me drinks at home. I got to do it myself. It has to be a theatrical experience. What James Cameron was trying to do, and it's going to be a really interesting experience on how it's going to work with Avatar, because if you really wanted the Avatar experience, you had to search out not only a IMAX theater, but like a legit IMAX. Like, don't go to AMC's IMAX theater. Go to Story of Texas, Bob Bullock IMAX. You need that experience. Make it a theatrical experience, and that's where you should put these big tentpole films. But don't still give me Weekend at Bernie's. Don't take that away from me.
Well, it's kind of like, everyone when you watch something like Everything Everywhere.
Oh, great film!
That's your vegetables. You got to eat your vegetables, and it's going to make you better, and it's going to make you healthy, and it's going to be fulfilling. But sometimes you just want a piece of chocolate cake.
Yes.
And that's what Top Gun, I think this one felt like. It felt like, it's nourishing me? Is it going to make me fit? No. But it's comfort food.
Yeah.
And so I think that there can be a balance between those two things. I'll eat my vegetables, but every once in a while I'm going to want a piece of cake. That's
right. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. That's a good way to put it. And I think that's because in the end, we don't want the theater experience to go away. But we're of the
definitely
mind.
not. I'm just up for more original content.
Yeah.
I would just want to see original stuff. I'm really starting to get burned out on the Remember Berries. I think it's gone overboard now. Everything just feels like a throwback. I want to see an original movie that with a story a story that I'm not familiar with that I can just buy into and go that way. I don't know.
And when it hits so well. Like when you get those surprise, like, wow, I had no idea. Like something like It Follows. Like, where the hell did that come from? And then when it works so well, like, why does it have to be only a Sith deals in absolutes, right? Find that balance.
Well, I think I think there's a place for both. I think, if anything, having the sequels and the nostalgia helps me appreciate the truly original stuff. It stands out more. I was talking to a friend, and we were talking about how it seems like every movie now has like 3 sequels and all this kind of stuff, and they're rebooting things. I'm like, do you not remember that there were 6 Police Academy movies? Yeah. I'm like, sequels have always been around, but you let those keep going. But it helps you, at least for me, it helps me appreciate it when something truly original comes around. Because like the most recent thing that just kind of like shocked me that I wasn't expecting was Parasite. I loved Parasite.
Yeah, no one saw that coming, right?
And that was a movie that I didn't really expect to hit me the way it did.
Yeah.
And so I don't think that movie could work if you didn't have all these other sequels and all the more derivative stuff coming out, because it really helped that movie kind of set itself apart and caught word of mouth and got that movie kind of pushed out further.
Yeah.
Hey, disclaimer, there are actually 7 Police Academy movies, as well as a series and a cartoon.
Oh, yes, there was a cartoon. But low-key, Best Police Academy 5, Assignment Miami Beach. Who would have thought Part 5 is when they really found their groove?
Is that when? That's when they lost Gutenberg.
Yeah. No, he didn't come back for that one. Nope. He did come back eventually for one. Right? Was he in Citizens on Patrol?
Yes, he was in the first 4.
The first 4. And then they had Captain Mauser, because what's his name didn't come back for the second one. But yeah, that was also their first assignment was good. Man, I actually remember seeing the first Police Academy in a drive-in. You're ready now, mister. And just like now, Tackleberry would be storming the Capitol, but back then you're like, this guy loves guns.
Yeah, he's like unbalanced and super, super armed.
Yeah.
Hey, would you like to see a Police Academy reboot right now?
Oh, man.
Well, it's funny
Sure
too.
question.
It comes down to the audience too, because the audience is going to tell you what they want, even if you don't like it. Like, I will be perfectly fine if I do not see another Transformer movie. I enjoy them for what they are, but I'm not going there for cinema. But people eat that up. We've had 9 Fast and the Furious movies. Now, granted, 3 of those Fast and the Furious movies are balls out insanely good.
Yeah.
And then the last one, it's always the running joke. Like when you're out of ideas, what are they gonna what are you gonna do? We need another Medea movie, Medea in space.
Go to space,
and
right?
then they went to space.
They literally went to space.
Furious during this last movie because I'm on board. I know that it's like Ocean's 11 on crack. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. But watching them literally go to space, I was just like, I'm done.
We knew it was coming, though, right?
I know, yeah.
You predicted it.
Mike wants the Police Academy reboot, so I think we should book that.
Oh, he wants specifically a requel.
We wants a requel.
Yeah.
So maybe you do something like Tackleberry, whatever, does a no knock kind of like whatever. What do they call it when they bust in on folks?
Oh yeah, the no knock warrant.
Oh,
No knock
no-knock
warrant on
warrant.
someone and kill somebody, right, by accident, and it's all in the news. And they got to bring back Mahoney out of retirement to help, get the PR up for Police Academy.
And I don't think there's anybody we can get to star in this other than Kevin Hart.
Oh, wow.
I think it's got to be Kevin Hart. That's the kind of movie that he's just right into.
Oh, yeah. You're absolutely right. I love that we're booking more Police Academy.
All the Police Academy candidates, like, they all get filmed on cell phones, like abusing folks, doing bad shit. And
Yeah, because now it's a completely different world. I mean, it had a lot of stars over the years, right? That kind of went through there. I mean, other than Punky Brewster's stepdad. I mean, was Sharon Stone in one, or did I dream that? No, Kim Cattrall.
She's in the first one.
The first one, yeah.
Kim Cattrall is in that.
Oh, bring back Michael Winslow. Let's
Michael
make him.
Winslow, yep.
He's
Yeah.
Let's make him the commander now of the Police Academy. He's the one making all the decisions, and like everybody, he just only speaks in noises.
Yeah, he
to
doesn't
everyone.
use any words. Like when he's doing a press conference, and he's like, yeah, we had Bubba Smith in there. Oh man, don't move, dirtbag. There's so much good
Yeah,
stuff.
get Hooks to do the dirtbag line. That was her
Hooks.
gimmick every movie. You're just waiting for her to say that line.
Oh man, and what was the gratuitous? What was her name with the big boobs? What was her name? And she ended up being a pivotal part in that. And first, she was going to
Yeah,
be
the
like
gym instructor or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, got to look that one up. Winslow has commissions money.
This is an excellent Top Gun review.
Yeah, we need to pull up the wiki on Police Academy because we need a character. Oh man, that's got to be. I can't think of her name. But like she seemed like she was one of those characters. Like, okay, this character's not Callahan, Leslie Eastbrook.
Callahan.
Right? Yeah, that was it. Oh man, Steve Guttenberg, Mahoney, Bubba Smith, Bobcat Gold. Oh, what's his name? From SNL was in Part 4, Citizens on Patrol.
Who was?
Wasn't that
Tony Hawk was in Citizens on Patrol.
Tony Hawk was?
Yeah.
David Spade.
Oh, that's right.
David Spade was
He played
in
a
there.
skateboard punk.
Yeah, he was a skateboard punk. Bobcat. Eugene Tackleberry, David Grath. Oh, Marion Ramsey is Hooks. Oh, G.W. Bailey, Lieutenant Harris. That's right. And then George Gaines, Eric Lassard. Oh, Punky. Man, yeah, this gave birth to a lot of. They wouldn't make a movie like this now, though, right? This goes
They
along.
couldn't. That's what I'm saying. I don't even know if they could make this movie, make Police Academy again.
Unless they just do it for like a. What if they go a dark route? What if they go the dark route? What if it's basically you pitch it to HBO Max? All right, it's going to be Police Academy, but book it like it's The Wire. Use all the
But
same.
funnier.
Yeah. Use all the same characters, but book it like The Wire. I think then I think you're in the money. Then HBO is just printing. Then you're catching up to Netflix.
But then you have to wonder if we're going to get sued, because of Reno 911,
Oh yeah, that's right.
which is basically this generation's version of a police academy, just on TV.
Yeah, you're right. Reno 911. Oh, you're right. Oh, yeah. Mike said maybe Bloomhouse Police Academy. Proctor. Oh,
You
man.
got to go dark. It's corrupt cops.
Yeah, it's got to be corrupt cops. I think that's the way to go. Oh,
So
man.
Top Gun was good.
Yeah.